The reading today is a collection of teachings from different wisdom traditions, expressing how we shall live in this life, in this world. Living a truly ethical life in which we look to putting the needs of others first and providing for their happiness has tremendous implications for our society. If we change internally, disarm ourselves by cutting to the root of our negative emotions, we can literally change the world. His Holiness the Dalai Lama. All that we are arises with our thoughts. Speak or act with a pure mind and heart, and happiness will follow you as your shadow, unshakable. The Buddha. What does the Lord require of us? Do justice, love kindness, walk humbly with your God. Micah 6:8. If there is righteousness in the heart, there will be beauty in the character. If there is beauty in the character, there will be harmony in the home. If there is harmony in the home, there will be order in the nations. If there is order in the nations, there will be peace in the world. Confucius. All streams flow to the sea because it is lower than they are. Humility gives it its power. If you want to govern the people, you must place yourself below them. If you want to lead the people, you must learn to follow them. The master is above the people, and no one feels oppressed. She goes ahead of the people, and no one feels manipulated. The whole world is grateful to her, because she competes with no one. No one can compete with her. The Tao Te Ching, verse 66. He who expects to change the world will be disappointed. He must change his view. When this is done, then tolerance will come, forgiveness will come, and there will be nothing he cannot bear. Hazrat Inayat Khan. So the last will be first, and the first will be last. Judge not, and you will not be judged. Condemn not, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you shall be forgiven. Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. Jesus of Nazareth. Carefully watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Manage and watch your words, for they become your actions. Consider and judge your actions, for they have become your habits. Acknowledge and watch your habits, for they shall become your values. Understand and embrace your values, for they become your destiny. Mahatma Gandhi. Inherent worth and dignity of every person. Justice, equity, and compassion. Accept and encourage spiritual growth. Responsible search for truth and meaning. Conscience and use of the democratic process. World peace, liberty, and justice for all. Respect for the interdependent web of life. The 7 principles of Unitarian Universalism. Well, it's really great to be here with you. Many of you know me, but you don't know much about me, so I'd like to do a brief introduction and my perspective. My background is in business, healthcare, and public health. In 1992, I came to Grand Rapids for a job as a research scientist, and I worked in that field until this past December. In the past, I have done scientific presentations and lectures, but I haven't really done a sermon. So what I describe in those is what's seen on the screen. But here what I describe are things that are unseen. So this is an adventure for you and for me. So I'd like to take a few minutes to tell you what brought me to this place, but just the short version today. Spiritual experiences over the past few years brought me here to All Souls Community Church. For several years, I have been church shopping on and off, and as I have done many times before, I just expected to check this church off of my list and move on to the next. But that's not what happened. When I came through those doors into this service, and it began, I sensed there was something that touched my spirit. It drew me in to learn more. I can't exactly explain what happened. It's difficult to express when one is struck spiritually. It was just a gentle bump on my path, enough for me to take notice, to say, pay attention here. You see, I didn't know this was a UU church when I came in here. Either it spoke to me or it didn't. That's what mattered to me. So I explored a bit more. I read the 7 principles, and I agreed with all of them. And I thought to myself, where has this been all my life? And I could also sense the dedication of the people I met. I knew that you were here because you believed it was important. And everyone was so friendly and welcoming. I knew this is the place I wanted to be. Here I saw that you don't just talk the talk, you actually walk the walk. And now, looking back, after hearing Reverend Collins' sermon that day, I knew this was the time and this was the place. So to give you a perspective about my spiritual identity, even as a young child, I was spiritually aware. In my family, my spirituality was formed in Christianity, Roman Catholic to be specific. And I'm grateful for that experience and what I learned. But as a teenager, I realized that the Catholic faith tradition just didn't work for me. So I began a lifelong journey to find what was meaningful and sacred to me. And during those years, I explored and I attended other churches, but I realized they just didn't fit. It's kind of like trying to wear a pair of shoes that are too small. They may look good, they may be in style, but they're just too uncomfortable to wear for very long. In my searching, I began to ask questions. And of course, the scientist in me wanted to gather information, evaluate it, and rationally draw conclusions. But as I began to explore and ask questions, rather than getting answers, I just found more questions. Then one day, I realized that any answers were beyond my comprehension. And I accepted that life is an unending quest into the mystery, and I would always be a seeker for what is true to me. And now, I consider myself to be spiritually independent, which means that I honor the wisdom and meaning in all faith traditions. Along the way, I became a certified interfaith, interspiritual director, and I'm currently working on a doctorate of ministry. Perhaps leaning towards chaplaincy, but really just serving where and when there is a need. I am a theist, and my theology is simple. Divine wisdom dwells within each of us. We are all inherently worthy. Our purpose in this life is to be in relationship Through this, we know the Savior. So, the subject of this talk came to me in a rather unusual way. This topic actually chose me. I was looking for something that would be both interesting and meaningful. We know historically that dreams often can be a source of wisdom. So one night, I set the intention in choosing a topic and I went to sleep. In the middle of the night, I woke suddenly with the thought, Micah 8:10. Now, I wasn't familiar with this, but I assumed it meant Micah in the Old Testament, chapter 8, verse 10. So I wrote it down so I would remember, and I went back to sleep. So in the morning, I Googled Micah 8:10, but Micah 6:8 came up. I typed it in again, same result. Well, I found out that the book of Micah only has 7 chapters and not 8. So I went back and checked Micah 6:8 and was very surprised at what I found. To paraphrase, it states, "What does the Lord require of us? To act justly, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God." Now, this wisdom is found in many faith traditions, as we heard in the readings, and these words offer us guidance about how we should act in this life. My intent here is to explore this not from a biblical context, because that's not what I'm about, but rather from the perspective of the different ways we use this guidance to actually live with integrity in the world. Each of the readings today express how our behavior impacts how we live in the human community with justice, kindness, and humility. Peaceful coexistence depends on our awareness and expression of the true nature within each of us. The wisdom of who we are resides in our heart and not in our head. So, how do we live a life that integrates justice, kindness, and humility with all the uncertainty currently in the world? We often find ourselves weary with all the unkind rhetoric and injustices and violence we witness every day. We need ways to ground ourselves and remain centered no matter what happens. It's so easy to get caught up in our own stories of what is happening around us. Jack Kornfield, a Buddhist mindfulness teacher, describes it this way. If you can sit quietly after difficult news, if in financial downturns you remain perfectly calm, if you can see your neighbors travel to fantastic places without a twinge of jealousy, if you can happily eat whatever's put on your plate, if you can fall asleep after a day of running around without a drink or a pill, if you can always find contentment just where you are probably a dog. Dogs live in the present. They don't hang on to the past or hold grudges or worry about the future. We saw that today in the story about Regan-Doodle and Little Buddy. Total and unconditional acceptance and love. As Regan-Doodle said in the story, I've come to learn that really all any of us can count on is one day, one moment, one breath. It's been said that dogs teach us how to accept unconditional love, and cats teach us how to give unconditional love. So, we all want to live with justice and equity and be in right relationship with others and give and receive compassion and embrace humility. But how do we navigate through our lives so that these are fundamental? Well, we begin to explore and ask questions. But we often get stuck trying to decide just what the right questions are that will lead us to the answers. But sometimes the questions are most important because we learn by living in those experiences. In pondering these questions, I happened upon a book by Wayne Muller called How Then Shall We Live? 4 simple questions that reveal the beauty and meaning of our lives. Muller lists 4 basic questions to help us find the true nature of our love, strength, courage, and wisdom. Number 1, who am I? Beneath all the stories of our past, beneath our joys and sorrows, we have within us an essential nature that is whole and unbroken. What is this true nature, and how do we find it? Number 2, what do I love? By what star do we navigate our journey on this earth? What is meaningful to us? What we love will shape our inner and outer life. Number 3, how shall I live knowing that I will die? Every moment in this life is a precious gift. If we are aware of our mortality, we can live less by accident and live instead with purpose. And number 4, what is my gift to the family of the earth? Each of us has a gift to bring, and the family of the earth yearns to receive it. How do we uncover this gift? And where can we find the confidence to offer it freely and happily? These questions remind me of a Charlie Brown cartoon I saw several years ago. Imagine Charlie Brown and Snoopy sitting on a dock overlooking a lake. Perhaps it's sunrise, perhaps it's sunset. We can only see them from behind. Charlie Brown comments, "Someday we will all die, Snoopy." And Snoopy, in his wisdom, replies, "True, but on all other days we will not." So then, how shall we live? And where do we start? We talk about how we encounter life, but how does life encounter us? And what do we mean when we talk about beginning our spiritual journey to explore these questions and find our true inner nature? Well, we journey into ourselves to find who we are and what is meaningful to us, what we love. If we're not aware of who we are or what is important to us, we live tentatively, not sure of our direction or our action. But as we begin to look inside ourselves, we usually find things that we don't like. Often we get blinded by what we consider to be our weaknesses, that we forget to draw upon our strengths. We must be kind to ourselves along our journey. Allowing self-compassion is often the greatest challenge we face on our spiritual path. We are all inherently whole and worthy. We just need to realize it within ourselves. This begins with a practice of mindfulness, the aware, balanced acceptance of the present experience. It is being open to receiving the present moment, pleasant or unpleasant, just as it is, and being aware of our thoughts and how we live within our thoughts. Then we can let go of assumptions and see the moment as it really is. We can decide how we will react and respond. A meditation practice goes hand in hand with mindfulness. Meditation gives us the opportunity to stop and pause in our day so we can quiet our minds and recenter ourselves. Even if it's only for a few minutes a day. Soon, we will find that we carry this quiet awareness with us throughout the day. Mindfulness and meditation help us realize that we are on a path that is our life. We learn this path has direction and is always unfolding, moment by moment. What happens in this moment impacts what happens next. We all walk our path alone, carrying our own burdens and joys, but we're not alone on our path. If we are awake and aware, we will find many companions, teachers, and guides, seen and unseen, that walk with us, providing wisdom along the way. We are all in this together, interconnected. We need each other to journey through this life, to find our way. We must allow ourselves and others the freedom to be who we are. If we know the why, what is uniquely important to us, the how will take care of itself. This I know. So take your place in the world. Be alive and be aware. We are all connected in this interdependent web of life. We have within us all that we need. Let us share that with each other. Just show up. Embrace who you are. Your life will follow. Live justice. Love kindness. Live with humility. Find that spark of joy that is within you and let that guide your way. Each one of us is part of the whole, but together we can literally change the world. Amen.
Amen.